What is up, guys? I am back with another video. It has been a long time since I dropped my last video, which was over a month ago, and a lot has changed. There's been a lot of new developments, I would say, a lot of new developments. So I'm excited to kind of share those things that's been happening. 1 month is a long time. A lot can happen in a month. So I'm gonna give you guys an update on what's been going on and kind of how things are looking right now. This video is pretty much just gonna be portfolio update, So kind of strap in. It's not gonna be a long video, but I'm gonna throw a lot at you in a very short period. So hope you enjoy this video. If you do, drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz, and I'll get into it. So the last time I posted, the last sale that I had made was Tesla for $15.12. This was back when I was still under the 6, 12, actually no, the 5, 10, 15 kind of version of my system, because I only had about 3,500 of investing capital at that time. And then in that video I was explaining how my investment capital was increasing from 3,500 to 4,500, and that was then. But now that is no longer, my total available capital. Now is sitting at, let's see, roughly a little bit over 6,100. So this is my money right here, and then this is someone that I am investing a little bit of money for. They gave me about $1,000 to invest for them. So the numbers can be a little wonky, but I'm tracking theirs and I'm tracking mine. I do not take any percent of any money that they make. I just am investing it for them. So technically, I'm sitting at around 6,100 with, 5,100 of that being mine. So in the video, on the thumbnail, I put over $400 profit. So if you just counted my share, it would be sitting at $391.61. But if you also count the money that I made for the person that I'm investing for, that would be, they've made $18.01, which I started near the beginning of the month, probably around the 8th or the 9th. So it hasn't been that long, but they're seeing great results. So now let's get into, so that's why I said 400 profit in the thumbnail, but it's showing 391 over here because I'm adding this number and this number to get 400, about $409, a little bit over. So starting with after the 13th, I did not make any more money for the month of August, but in September I'm having my best month ever. On the 2nd, I sold Alibaba, which was not performing well for me for a long time, and then had a big reversal, and I sold that for $18.17. Also want to note, I know I said this video I'm going to be throwing a lot at you, so I just want to get everything in there. So since I am now investing with 6,100, as I explained in the last video, I was going from 5, 10 to 15, then I was moving up to 6, 12, 18, 24, with my new profit target being 18. Now that I'm at 6,100, the new numbers work out to be 8, 16, 24, 32, with the profit target being 24. So if you know anything about my strategy, if you watch any of my videos, that's kind of like the scale that I use. So it'll be $8 if I'm buying from 0 to 2% down, $16 if it's 5 to 8% down, 24 if it's 8 to 11% down, and then 32 if it's 11 plus down. But the thing is, if say it's down 2% at 9 o'clock, and I buy $8 worth, If later in the day it goes down to, um, let's say it's down 6%, I wouldn't buy an additional 16. I will only buy an additional 8, if you get what I'm saying. So if that makes sense. So back to what I was saying. I bought Alibaba and I sold it for $18.17. This was before I had hit the six, I had increased my profit. I had scaled up as much. So the profit target was only 18 at this time at, September 2nd. So that's why I sold for around 18 here. Then I followed that with Broadcom at 18.90. C Limited was 17.96. United Health 17.99, and then Robinhood Market, um, I sold for 19.70. But at this time, so right around the 10th, if you can see here, is when I started. I went from 6, 12, 18, 24 to 8, 16, 24, 32. So the new profit target became 24. So Um, here, this is just my share of the profit, but really, in reality, when I sold for 1970 plus would have been 401, so around $24 is where I would have sold that. And then Oracle, my share of what I sold for was $24.92, and you have to add that with the $5.07 that I made for this person. I'm trying to protect their identity. Um, and then CoreWeave, I made $24.34 on that. The total was somewhere around 29, 28, 29. And then finally, Hims and Hers Health, which was on the 18th, so a couple days ago, I made 1988 on that. So that brings my profit up to $391.67. Like I said, September. This is my best month of all time so far. It's only been a few, not in my total experience investing, but since I started this new strategy, this has definitely been my best month by far. And I can definitely attribute that to obviously scaling up, which means, obviously I have more money to invest with. That means that the upside is higher, the risk is higher, but it's fine. It's fine because that's what the whole point of, scaling, keeping the same ratios as I'm scaling up is that in reality, yes, I'm technically at risk to lose more money because I'm investing more money, but the whole idea behind the strategy is pretty much the same. So not much is changing besides I'm just seeing bigger numbers up and down. Okay, so now looking at what my portfolio is looking like right now, I am I am up 0.2% on the day, not that great, but on the week I am up $101.88, 3.45%. In the month I am up 7.68%, which comes out to be $284.85. So that's fantastic. Um, right now I have $2,732 invested. We're looking at a gain of $118.87, percent of 4.35, which is, I don't really have much to say about it besides the fact that I'm loving where the portfolio is right now. Looking at some of these total returns, SoFi is my best position, up $19.10, only a few dollars away from hitting my profit target for that. For that one, not far behind it, we have Taiwan Semiconductors up $18. SoFi, I'm up 23.5%, and Taiwan Semiconductors up a little bit over 22%. Google is up $15.74. That is coming out to a whopping and amazing 37.5%. I wish I had more invested in Google, but unfortunately, I just stick to my system, and if I don't get a lot of buying opportunities, I don't get a lot of buying opportunities. You can see, looking at how the stock has been doing for the past month. I've had one buy here, and that's pretty much it. But it is up 22% on the month, or in the last 30 days. So those are my top three positions. Nvidia, Palantir. I'm looking at a lot of. I'm just looking at a lot of stocks that are performing really, really, really well for me. Tesla up 26% for me right now, $11.32. Palantir up 11.5%, $12.34. So, looking at some of my worst positions, we have Figma, which is kind of new IPO. That's kind of having a bit of a. You can look at this. See, it's down 21.5%. A big drop on the third or on the fourth. Not great. 15% drop, pretty much. But I mean, it could be worse. I'm only down 12, and only down a little bit under 13%. Looking at a $23 loss. Circle kind of bounced up into the positive for me temporarily, and then it kind of came back down. But that is my biggest position. If we look at my total investment value, my two worst positions are my two most invested positions, because obviously my strategy buying into weakness, averaging down, it only makes sense that my worst positions would have the most invested in them. But the thing with having a lot of money invested in it is that it can turn around very quickly, which is something that happened for a lot of the stocks that I sold. Um, as I was showing in previously on the spreadsheet, Alibaba was one of those stocks. United Health was one of those stocks that were kind of hovering near the bottom of my portfolio for a while, and then all of a sudden, the right news came out. The sentiment kind of shifted, and maybe some earnings beat or something like that. Maybe that's a good example. With that is what is it? I can't think of the name of it. Oracle. A good example of that is Oracle, because they had some great news come out about them having spectacular earnings, and then the stock jumped overnight. And so it went from a stock that I wasn't really that heavily invested in to being my most profitable position, just like that. You see this jump literally up 30%. I sold here, so yeah, I made about 30 something percent on that one. You just never know sometimes with what I mean. Even a lot of professionals were saying that they could have never predicted that Oracle's numbers would be that great. So that's kind of the strength of my system, just admitting sometimes, like, you can have an idea of what stocks will do well, but you don't know exactly when it's going to be. You don't know exactly how it'll play out. So you just kind of have to be in the game to benefit. You can't win unless you plan in the game. So that is pretty much how the portfolio looks right now. I'm kind of just taking it day by day. I'm excited to see how much. I'm excited to see how well my strategy can perform. Obviously, as I always say in almost every video, I want to see how my strategy holds up in a very, very bad market. I'm not praying for a bad market, but that will really be the true test. My goodness. That will really be the true test to see whether or not, my strategy can really really perform well. So I didn't want to make this video too long. If you kind of liked this type of content. If you want to see, is this maybe it's a fluke, maybe the market is just performing well. If you want to see, if you want to follow me on this investing journey, if you want to support me, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. If you are new and you want to get more content like this, drop a comment down below if there's anything you want to say, opinions about my strategy, maybe something that you're doing that's working or not working, or whatever you want to talk about. I guarantee I'll give you a response, and I really appreciate it. And that's all I got. See you in the next one. Peace.